There we go. Right, fan on. Oh, jeez. Come on.
Melting!
There we go. Hey everybody, it's John Lamberton here alongside my good friend and business partner, Mr. Jason Brockman. We are here for another episode of the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast, where as always, it is our job to help you get more customers and make more money without just working harder. So without further ado, let's dive straight into this month's episode. Hey everybody, welcome to the Summer Special edition of the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast. As is now traditional, I think this is our 5th year of doing Summer Specials, isn't it, Jace?
You might be, yeah, 5 years.
As is tradition, it is just me and you. There's no guest at all joining us today, unless you've got a surprise up your sleeve.
No,
good.
I haven't, but it's great to see you, John, and it's nice. Always nice to have a chat, isn't it? We only do it a couple of times a year, and I always look forward to these. Not that saying that not having the guests around is a bad thing, but it's always nice to have a little chat with you.
It is. I think a lot of people like when we just have a chat, and we've got an agenda today. There is a loose script. We've had a pre-production meeting before we started this, which consisted of this. So these are the things that we're going to talk about. Like, oh crikey, what are we going to say about that? I know listeners out there will be very, very surprised that any preparation whatsoever goes into putting this kind of show together, but it honestly does. So here we are. This is we're recording this, by the way, on one of the hottest days of the year. I've had to turn my fan off because otherwise it'd be picked up on the microphone. So I am now sweating profusely at the start of the episode. Happy summer, everyone. And Jason's had an ice cream.
I've had an ice cream, and I'm sat on Drake's Island, so it's not bad, to be fair. It's quite nice. A little wind, not too much, but it is a bit warm too. So yeah.
Good. That worked really well for the audio podcast. I think the fact that your virtual background on Zoom is Drake's Island, which most people outside of Plymouth would never have heard of.
Which reminds you to go to the YouTube channel and watch us on YouTube, because we sit there quite happily. And one of these specials that we're doing, it's really nice to see our faces too. So bigidea.co.uk/YouTube.
There we go. Go along there and have a look. So what have we been up to this year? I was expecting you to answer that, mate. That was over.
Yeah, good. Well, this year's been a bit busy, year, isn't it? I know you've been incredibly busy. Incredibly busy editing recently, which is rather good, isn't it? Who knew you were going to come up with another book?
Yep. So Evergreen Assets. Evergreen Assets coming out in November. I'm in that horrible editing stage at the moment where I remember with the first book, you finish the book and you think, great, that's brilliant. I'm 90% of the way there, and you're technically about halfway. I've got some beta readers reading over stuff at the moment, and I've gone through line by line edits, and it's a horrible stage. But there is a phrase, I think I've used it in the book. Good books aren't well written; they're well edited. And
it's a bit of it. I would imagine, having not written a book, that this is the worst part of it, because having written thousands and thousands of words, you now have to go in and rubbish them out and use a ruler. And
yeah, it is, because you think, why have I wasted my time writing these words in the first place? So just to give you in kind of numbers, my initial vomiting words onto a page, let's just get a first draft out there, went up to, I think, 106,000 words. I then culled that down myself with just literally a pen and paper down to 94,000. So that's like 12,000 words gone. To put that into context, that's like a week's work thrown away. Then I filled in the gaps, which were lots of insert this section, still need to write this. Don't know what to say about this, expand upon this further. Took it back up to 104,000 words. Today, or this week rather, I've been editing. I've gone through a lot of the beta readers' comments, really up in ruthless. Took it down to 102,000, and today I've deleted another 3,000 words. So in total, I've written and thrown away about 20,000 words so far, and we've done one edit.
Wowzers. That's like writing a dissertation on its own, just those 20,000 words. I know Charlotte, my daughter's been writing her dissertation for the final year at uni sort of thing. And yeah, she'd love to have those 20,000 words. Probably not anything relevant to what she's doing, but
she's welcome to them. They'll pad out her word count brilliantly.
That's the amount of effort that kind of goes into kind of creating that. And then you just cut it out, which is, yeah.
Does she want kind of, I don't know, 1,800 words on how much she hates social media? I've got tons of that sort of content. It was like, that was a bit too much. Lots of moaning, lots of ranting about because the whole premise of Evergreen Assets is that these are an ecosystem of kind of do the work once, reap the rewards again and again and again, content-led assets. So stuff like a book, stuff like a podcast, stuff like a blog post. You create this asset once and it will serve you again and again and again. And lots of what I was rallying against in the book was the do the work once, reap the reward once, and then next time do it again and then reap the reward again. And then anytime you want the reward, you've got to do the work again. And it was kind of this whole, you always used to love the word residual. It's kind of growing up around the horrible MLM scene where it's residual income. And I think of this now every time I'm cooking in the kitchen and I'm frying something off, and then I just turn the pan off and let the residual heat of the pan continue to cook what's in the dish. And it's this idea that your business should have a plethora of these residual evergreen assets that when you've got them and you've built them and you combine them together, you can step away. Not abdicate. You can't walk away and leave your business and just, it's going to run itself. It's going to be on autopilot. But you can step away and you can focus your attention elsewhere. And you do get compound growth from that, I think. But yeah, so much of it was just me going, I hate it when people do this. Social media was my biggest thing because I'm so, I mean, Sarah and I talked about it on the podcast last month about kind of the LinkedIn coaches who's like, right, your strategy is post 4 times a day on LinkedIn, every day, including Saturdays, including Sundays. After a year, when you've written 1,440 posts, write another 1,440 posts, because otherwise your pipeline's going to dry up. It's like, I cannot think of anything that I would hate more than that. It's just awful.
So 2 other books. You got Big Ideas for Small Businesses.
That's
I couldn't even get the title out. That's amazing. It's such a long title, that one. And they had the shorter titled Routine Machines.
Yep.
But both of those, they kind of framed lots of framework and big ideas were obviously that were in them, and that's part of the whole kind of concept of your writing the books. To be fair, isn't it? So Evergreen Assets, is that built on a framework or a set of big ideas?
Yep. So I've always been an investment fan. And so I'm always all about the asset classes. And one of my investment strategies is to kind of invest in a diverse, like biodiverse ecosystem of asset classes. So I own mining stocks and I own tech stocks and I own old school and I own pharmaceuticals and I own retail and I own property. I own everything. And that's kind of where I've gone with Evergreen Assets is I've looked at asset classes, same as you would with the stock market. I've looked at that with business and I've said like, okay, there's set classes that each of these content-led assets belong to. And if you imagine the flow of a customer, you can follow them through the asset classes. So you start off with leads. Let's get leads into your system. If your phone's not ringing, you need leads. So that's lead assets. We then, once we've got leads, we need to nurture those leads. We need to make sure they know, like, and trust us. So we bring them through nurture assets. We create nurture assets. That means that they'll take your phone call when you ring them. When you speak to them on the phone, if they're not buying, then you need some sales assets. You need to actually get them over the line. You need to get them to get their credit card out and say, hey, shut up and take my money. Once they've given you their money, one of the biggest problems certainly we've had, I think, over the last however many years is the leaky bucket. We're bringing the customers in and we've got this wonderful bucket and it's sort of constantly filling with leads, constantly filling with sales. Brilliant. Why is this bucket never actually filling? And it's because there's full of holes at the bottom. So we're then looking at fulfillment assets, which is and there's a couple of analogies I use in the book. The first one is giving people what they want. And I think the more visual analogy I've used is from the film Falling Down. Remember the film Falling Down? Michael Douglas? Right, let me set the scene. Michael Douglas is on a, Los Angeles freeway, stuck in traffic. He's having a bad day. Something goes wrong. Something else goes wrong. Michael Douglas loses his shit. Michael Douglas goes into a local burger restaurant. I'd like the breakfast, please. I'm sorry, sir, we stopped serving breakfast at 10:30. Michael Douglas looks at his watch. It's 10:34. I'd like a breakfast. No, you can't have a breakfast. Calls out the manager. Eventually then pulls out a machine gun and starts kind of threatening and holding up the burger restaurant. Then changes his mind, and he is going to have this burger at the end of the day. He says, all right, fine, I'll have the burger. I won't have the breakfast. I'll go for the burger. They present him with the burger, and he pulls out this limp, like completely flaccid, greasy mess of a burger and looks up at the wonderful picture on the menu. And he's like, what the hell is this? And that's where most people go wrong, is their burger doesn't look like the one in the picture. And that's where most customers get irate and angry, is because they've seen the picture of the burger. They're like, I really like the look of that. And then they get this polystyrene box, they opened it up, and what is in there is unidentifiable from what's on the picture. So that's fulfillment assets. Once we've given them what they want, we've got to make sure they actually pay us on time. We've got to make sure that everything works like clockwork. That's the admin assets. I never thought when I walked out of the civil service 20 years ago, I'd be writing a book about administration. And I haven't. I've written a section in a book about admin. I've tried to make admin sexy. I'm making no promises whether I've succeeded on that or not. So we've got a customer, we've given them what they want, we've made sure, damn sure their burger looks like the one in the picture. We've got everything running like clockwork. All that is left to do now is to turn one customer into more than one. We need some viral assets. We need to increase our business's R rate. I don't know if you've heard of this term called an R rate. Is that something listeners probably have never heard of these things?
It's relatively new concept, I think, isn't it? Yeah.
But it's taken those assets that will ultimately turn one customer into 1.1, one into 1.2, that in general, you will get customers replicating themselves. That if you put 100 leads into your ecosystem and you end up with, let's say 10 sales becomes 12 because of your viral assets. Whereas for most people, and this goes back to my other pet hate from Big Ideas for Small Businesses, word of mouth. Word of mouth is not a viral asset. It's not something you've designed. It's not something you curated. It's not something you control. It's something that just happens. And you may have an R rate of 1.1, 1.2, thanks to your word of mouth. But unless you've controlled it, it's not an asset. It's just a lucky break. Does that kind of make sense? Can you picture that ecosystem there?
I can absolutely see that, yeah. I can see a lot of ranting and raving as well.
You can see now what the 20,000 words are to be cut out of this. We haven't even talked about, well, we have talked a little bit about social media, but oh, God.
So at least you got rid of 20,000 words of anger. That's good.
Absolutely. So you going back to the kind of the burger, the making the fulfillment assets, making your burger look like the picture, making sure that they've got what they want. That's something you've been working on quite a lot this year, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's as you say, we've identified these as really important for our business as much as anything else. And there are parts of our businesses which we've neglected, and we've kind of sat on the laurels a little bit, and we kind of we keep coming up with master plans and things to make them up, but just not doing the stuff that needs to be done to get it there, really. And I think we've identified that particularly this year, and certainly through the pandemic and things, that we've been concentrating on our assets, which are our businesses and our websites and things like that, and looking at all these hose in the buckets, which we can kind of just start plugging them up, which means that the business themselves are easier. We don't have to spend quite so much acquiring new customers. Those that we do have spend more time with us, therefore we earn some more money out of them, and lots of reasons. As you say, it's all compounded, isn't it, really? by just keeping them. It's a lot easier to keep a customer than it is to get rid of them, or to get a new one, sorry, isn't it? So it's, yeah, absolutely. That's what we've been looking at. So the process, we've looked at everything from our kind of leaky hose, and in terms of why people are kind of leaving and falling out of love with us and whatever else, as well as, deliberate retention plans and things like that with the customers that we kind of have.
So I think that this started probably when lockdown first kicked in last year. We had a first ever time we'd done this as a company. We all read the same book. That was Never Lose Another Customer, Never Lose a Customer. I've got it on my
Never Lose a Customer.
Never Lose a Customer Again. That's it. Joey Coleman. And we all read this same book. And I remember making pages and pages of notes. And I think it probably took us the best part of a year to actually implement any of those changes beyond, that's a nice idea. And I think when we, as a team, read the book, everybody thought, that'd be nice if other people do that. There's nothing in this book that I need to do.
Definitely.
And I've used a quote from Joey in Evergreen Assets, one of his stats. Between 20 and 70% of all businesses will lose their customers. Or they'll lose between 20 and 70% of their customers in the first 100 days of doing business with them. And I think we've identified, certainly as a membership business, that those first 100 days are so crucial, because if you can get them beyond 100 days, 0 to 100 days is a lot harder than 101 to 200 days. 201 days to 300 days it becomes easier to keep. The longer you keep them, the easier it is to keep them. But those first 100 days are crucial.
Kind of raving fans, aren't you? They become your assets because they're actually the ones that are talking about you, and they're never going to want to leave because they like your business so much. And that's the whole process of getting through those 100 days is to turn them into, you have to say, your raving fans, I guess. Yeah.
So what sort of assets have you been working on, thinking about kind of the form ratings, software as a system business, or even the 1% Club for the membership side of things there?
Yeah, so from the format ratings point of view, one of the biggest things that we have is getting people to use them. So what we do is we have a whole, take race cards for the entire day, and we give a whole load of numbers on those cards, and they give them some kind of idea of which our system is telling people how they're going to perform. And generally speaking, they do run to form because that's what horses do. But what we never done is explain them how that works, how they can make it work for them, and actually how they can use it and overcome any objections they may have, like, this is too hard, this is too difficult, these are just like numbers and I have no idea where to start, and all those kind of things. And we've been I don't know how long we've had form ratings, 10 years, 8 years, something like that, maybe
8 years, I reckon. 8
years. And in all that time, we've said the same thing every kind of quarter when we do a review of where we're at and things. It's like, we really could do with getting people to use them, because once they're using the ratings, then there's no reason for them to leave, because they'll see where that they work and that they actually can make profit and so on and so forth. So every time we talked about that, and so as I say, lockdown came and we've looked at our business as a whole, and it's like, this is one area that we've talked about for such a long time, and actually never losing a customer. Well, we lose these guys in the first week if they pick it up and go, no idea, and then cancel, then we'll never see them again. And so that was one of our biggest areas of looking. So the onboarding of our new customers in that particular business was completely relevant and really important. And then we looked at from that, we've looked at maintaining them, so providing them with new ways of using the data, new ways of working. So actually providing them with kind of a guide really to making that happen, both online and offline as well, to make it kind of suitable to all of our clients really, or all of the members. And then we've looked at the cancellation and actually how we can create a better process, because why people are leaving, I didn't have time to do it. Well, there's ways of using them without taking up your time. Too confusing. Well, we made it nice and easy because there's this here that you can do. The only one I haven't overcome is we don't bet on horses anymore. That's a really tricky one to start to kind of combat. And I've been having a chat with Mel, our person who looks after our members, and she was like saying it's really hard to overcome that one. So we're going to have a company brainstorm on how we can tell them that betting on horses is a great idea. But yeah, so
convincing people that don't bet anymore that they should bet. I'm not sure that's something we want to be looking at.
maybe not. But this is so obviously looking at every kind of asset to kind of about cancellations. What are we looking at? What can we do to mitigate against those? How can we keep more people for longer? That's that thing. And again, to be fair, that's the same across each of our businesses. The horse racing, our 1% club as well.
One of the assets that I've written about is a proven framework, and I think we already had this for all of our businesses, and I think most business owners already have a proven framework. So, for example, let's use form ratings again. We've got Oliver. Oliver's like our model client, been with us for 5 years, absolutely loves form ratings. It's brilliant. It works fantastically well for him. Meanwhile, we've got, let's call him Dave. Dave's just joined today. He's had a quick look around. It's all a load of numbers. Don't get it. I'm off. I'm cancelled. Now, how do we turn Dave into Oliver? Well, Oliver figured it out for himself. He found the pathway. He took some wrong turns, I would imagine. He went down some dead ends. He probably nearly quit a few times. But he figured it out, and he found the pathway that worked for him, that led from him becoming a confused newbie to becoming an absolute master who's been with it for 5 years and absolutely smashing it. So all we need to do is become the guide and say, right, this is how you get from confused newbie to seasoned pro. This is the pathway. Other people have trod this pathway before you. This is the way to it. Come with me to platform number 1. Never mind how far away the end goal is and how scary it is. Just come with me to the first little stepping stone. Can we do that? Of course we can. Because I've done this hundreds of times with all of our clients. We go from here to step 1. If you're a personal trainer, you don't say, right, what we're going to do is we're going to run a half marathon in 6 months' time. No, you just say, actually, do you know what? Get your exercise gear on. Make sure you've got a bottle of water. We're going to walk around the block today. That's step 1. Can you do step 1? Of course you can. Why are we walking around the block? Because that's step 1 of our proven framework. Step 2, we knock it up a gear. Step 3, we knock it up a gear. But this is the proven framework, the pathway that I've taken people on again and again and again. And the more you can share that proven framework, the less customers you'll lose along the way, because the customers you will lose are those that deviate from the path. And the reason they're falling off cliffs and killing themselves is because they're not staying on the pathway. And
that's really interesting because that's really interesting because up until the point where we looked at this, our way was, let's find more Olivers. We just need to find enough Olivers. That's what we need to do. He's our ideal client. We need to find him. Yep. And I guess that's what lots of business owners, they work out who they need to be selling to, and they spend all their time trying to find that right person. But actually, as you say, that proven framework of getting them from A to B is so powerful. At least it has been for us in our form ratings business.
Yeah, we don't need to find more Olivers. We need to create more Olivers out of the Daves.
Yeah.
Cool.
I suppose we take that into a 1% club as well. So previous intakes that have come in kind of thing have kind of come in and kind of like, there's all this stuff to do. Yeah. And this probably takes us pre-pandemic, in fairness, the process certainly. But yeah, looking at how we can kind of better onboard people who are coming into our 1% world. We've got the masterclasses, we've got the coaching calls, we've got the Facebook group, we've got the email list, we've got the one-to-ones, we've got the masterclasses. I might have said that already, maybe I didn't. We've got the website full of stuff. Yeah, we've got our books that you can read, and there's all of this information, isn't there? There's plenty of it. And one of the first things that you kind of did was create our email assets to kind of nurture them into becoming the best 1%er, the 1% way, which basically takes them as a guide through all of the stuff that we've got, but as much of a slower pace.
Yeah, it's a curated pathway. Again, it's that proven framework. It's saying, look, we've done this before. We've done it for hundreds of clients now. Come with me to step 1. Thinking about a few of the assets we've put into place probably over the last year for the 1% Club. Again, one of the big objections that we had was people didn't know you. They said, well, I've read John's books and I've listened to John's audiobook, and I've joined John's 1% Club. Who's this bloke called Jason? And
Nobody.
but because what we were doing was kind of that thing where I would fall in love with the client, we'd agree to get married, we'd turn up at the altar, the vicar would we'd exchange I was going to say exchange car insurance details. No, we'd exchange vows. That's it, vows. We'd promise to love each other forever, gaze lovingly into each other's eyes. The vicar would say, I now pronounce you client and business owner. You may now kiss the bride. I go, cool. Jason's going to take over from me. He'll be looking after you from now on. And the client just goes, what? Who? Where's the other guy gone? And that handover wasn't handled very well. It was just like, right, okay, I did all the selling. I did all the razzmatazz. I wrote all the books. Great. And then you sign up and you get Jason. It's like, who the hell's Jason? And where's he come from? So we've now kind of moved you sooner in the journey. And it's like, well, obviously we co-host the podcast together. I've made sure that you're mentioned in all of the books. One thing I've identified this week is actually a lot of our sales assets for the 1% Club are very me heavy. So actually I need to put more of you pre-sale so that when people have come into the club, they don't suddenly go, well, who the hell is this guy? They know who this guy is. This is my right-hand man. I've been working with him for 18 plus years now. He's a mini me, kind of same size, but not mini. And I think having that handover, but we also put into place a kickoff call. And you alluded to this just now with the form rating stuff. If things start well, they end well. If things don't start well, they don't tend to end well. So doing that kickoff call has made such a big difference to our retention figures, because now people are, and we're meeting people where they are. And I think so much of what certainly Joey Coleman was talking about was meeting people where they are in terms of emotion. Now with form ratings, I've played along this month as a customer. So I've tried to imagine that I don't know what I know. And I've tried to just read the copy and just read the emails and just follow the instructions. And so email number 1 comes in. I'm like, okay, I don't have a login. Email number 2 comes in and I know where to look for the information, but it's not in the email. So I need to just sit there and do nothing and say that information isn't there. And then when information is dripped out, I'm writing down how I'm feeling. And I wrote down stuff like too hard, scared, overwhelmed, haven't got time to do this. And these are objections we've been hearing from customers, but now I was feeling it. And it's like, yeah, of course they're feeling overwhelmed, because literally I haven't got time to do this. I haven't got time to do any of it. And by meeting them, those emotions where I am now, as I've worked through it, I'm now feeling the excitement, because we've changed some stuff and I've tweaked the proven framework. So actually we can we're almost at the point whereby we can give new members the ideal first 30 days, because where I am right now is I'm feeling excited because we've adapted this product, and I'm now at that point where if I was a customer, I could see myself never leaving, because my God, this works. And that's all I want as a customer, is to think, do you know what? If this works the way the last 3 weeks have gone, if this continues for the next however many months, I'm never going to leave. And that's how you create an Oliver, because Oliver isn't going to leave unless we mess it up royally, because it's working for Oliver. And the 1%ers, if it's working for them, they're never going to leave. If their burger looks like the picture and they love that burger and they don't suddenly go vegan, or we don't suddenly turn into a vegan restaurant or whatever, then they are going to stay forever, because they're getting what they want. And it's the trifecta of Evergreen Assets is find out what they want, give them what they want, and make damn sure they're getting what they want. And that's all it comes down to, really.
Perfect. So doors are opening soon, aren't they?
They are. This is obviously coming out in August. So yeah, doors open 1st of September. September and March, every year we open the door to new 1%ers. I was going to say it's like the old Forrest Gump thing, isn't it? You know, they're like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. But it's interesting. You think back to like our March intake, and again, we seem to attract sort of different clients. We had one who hopefully we're going to meet on next month's episode. And Alan joined in March, and he's absolutely smashed it. You know, he really bought into the 1% way proven framework from a very, very early in his journey. He was like, right, I'm paying for this. It's going to be working. I remember Elaine saying years ago, you know, I'm paying for this. I'm turning up, pencil in hand, every single coaching call. Didn't just come on the coaching calls though. Didn't just communicate with the rest of the group, talk to us in the Facebook group. He did the work as well. I've got to mention the tagline of Evergreen Assets, by the way, is do the work once, reap the rewards again and again and again. Everybody wants to reap the rewards again and again and again, but no one wants to do the work. And you got to do the work. And I think I may have had a little bit of a rant in the book about people who don't want to do the work as well. But Alan did the work and is reaping the rewards. I mean, last update I think we have him was 46% increase in monthly recurring revenue.
Yep.
In 5 months. So he's not following the 1% way, because if he's following the 1% way, he should be going up by 1% every week, which after 21 weeks, you know, even with compounding, he's only at about 28%. So he's ahead of where he should be. But you compare Alan with a lot of the people that joined in March. Some have left already. Some left before they did anything in March. Some have done quite well. Some have done okay. And there's a real spectrum from literally people who've done nothing to people like Alan who've smashed it. And trying to find, again, we're almost, when we're having our meetings, going, how do we find more Allens? Mm-hmm. We don't need to find more Allens. We need to create more Allens. But the way we do that is possibly by making sure we attract people who are going to do the work. Because what's the biggest objection that we get from 1%ers who said, oh, really sorry, guys, I'm cancelling. What reason do they give us?
I'm busy, too much work to do.
Yep.
Emails
too busy. Haven't got to, love what you do. And we get this episode like, right, what can we do? Yeah, how can we improve? Feedback loop. That's another of our Evergreen Assets, by the way, feedback loop. So we ask, what can we do to make it better? We genuinely want to know, how do we make our burgers look like the one in the picture? And the answer is almost always, oh, you guys are great. We love you. Love what you do. For the people that it works for, it's brilliant. It's just not for me. I haven't got time to do it. I'm far too busy. Cool. Well, that's a big part of what we do, is we keep saying we're not going to help you grow your business. We'll help you improve your business. So how about we get you earning the same amount of money, but make you less busy? I haven't got time to be less busy.
I'm going to take us back to the cooking analogy again, really. So it's a bit like a recipe, isn't it? So we provide you with the recipe, we provide you with the instructions, we give you the ingredients, we throw it all together and tell you how it's going to work out. But you still need to be the chef that puts it together in your own kitchen and comes up with that lovely meal at the end of it.
Yeah, I can picture there's a few chefs out there now where their finished dish looks nothing like the one in the picture anyway. But yeah, it is ultimately, it's the other thing. If you can give people all the assets they need and all the information they need. One of my favorite Derek Sivers quotes, I think I used in Big Ideas for Small Businesses: if more information were the answer, we'd all be billionaires with perfect abs. It's the execution of the ideas. And I think, yeah, one of the sales assets that I created probably a year ago, maybe 18 months ago, for the 1% Club, was a massive long sales page. And part of the copy on there is a picture of me and you having a good old laugh when we were allowed to actually be within 2 meters of each other. And the headline says something like, our reaction when people think we're going to do all the work for them. And it says, warning, this is not a magic bullet. We don't have magic beans. This is not some secret system whereby you sign up, you pay us a monthly direct debit, and your business magically gets better. We will, as you said, we will give you the recipe. We'll show you. We'll do a cook along. We'll do a live cook along for you. We will send you the ingredients. We'll tell you where to source the best ingredients from. We'll introduce you to some of the best chefs in the world. But ultimately, you've got to actually fire up your hob. You've got to open your fridge. You've got to take the 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever, to make that dish. And yeah, I think it's interesting to see. We've got this proven framework, and it is very much, we've said 100 days, but I think with 1% Club, we very much see that it is even quicker than that. If we get people engaged and enthused and basically getting results from the 1% Club in the first couple of weeks, boom, they're back, they're on it next time. Left to their own devices, they are left to their own devices, and we suddenly, they go a bit quiet, and we reach out. Everything okay? Yeah, I'm just busy. Yeah, just busy. Can't make any of the coaching calls at the moment. I'm just busy. Another month goes by. You okay? You all right there? Yeah, I'm just busy. Okay, let us know if you need anything. If you watch this coaching call, have you seen this masterclass? Yeah, I'm just busy. Cool. Another month. You okay? Is everything right? Yeah, I'm going to cancel now. Yeah, I haven't got time. So, okay, how about you watch our time management masterclass? How about you look at our deep work masterclass? How about you come on a coaching call and ask the question, how can I work 2 hours a week less? That's how you make progress. Making progress in your business is not just about adding the tap and filling the bucket and getting more customers. Often it's, how can I survive by adding less customers in the top? How can I keep more customers? How can I earn this? Talked about this Sarah last month again. How can I earn the same amount of money but work fewer hours?
So one of the key kind of frameworks really is people needing to know what recipe they need to select. I guess that's the thing, because not everybody's on the same journey. Not everybody needs to do the same things, and it may not be for me because actually I'm not like other business owners. I've got my own kind of thing going on there. That's a typical kind of objection prior to signing up, I guess, really.
Yeah, it's never going to be for everyone. We're never going to be for everyone. You need to know that actually you resonate with us. You've got to be open. You've got to be coachable. I think we've had people in the past who treated it as just a networking group only, and it's there for me to pitch to and just say, hi, I'm whoever this is what I do. We've got a proven framework, but not everyone starts at the same starting point. And step one of the journey, this is where the kickoff call makes it so much more important, is actually the first job that you've got to do, that I've got to do, and that our new 1%er has to do, is figure out what's worth doing. Because we've got 50 masterclasses in the vault they can go and watch. We've got 80 other 1%ers they can go and talk to. We've got 3 live coaching calls happening every single month. There's 250 plus emails that will be dripped out to you through the 1% way. Not all of that's going to be relevant to you. So where do you need help? What do you need? Are you struggling for clients, or are you struggling for time? How's your headspace? How's your health? Our coaching call tonight is about health. It's like, well, it's not a traditional thing that people would focus on to grow a business. We're not about growing businesses. We're about improving businesses. The only way to improve someone's business is to know what needs improving. Because I've been in groups where everything is about getting £1 million business. You need to, if you're going to be super successful, you need £1 million business. And we're going to talk today about getting more customers. Great. What if that's not what I need? What if I've got too many customers and they're low quality? And actually I could, I was chatting to one of our former 1%ers actually last month, caught up with him for the first time in like a year. So how's things going? He said, absolutely brilliant. He said, I've doubled my prices and I've lost half my clients. He said, I'm earning the same amount of money, but I've got half the clients, which means I can look after them better, which means actually I should earn more because they should stay. And I don't need to spend, my marketing budget's gone down because I don't need to put Facebook ads up anymore. I don't need to do Google ads anymore. Oh, it's so much less stressful. That's what he needs. Someone else might be scrabbling around for clients and need clients. Someone else might need to create a new ecosystem of evergreen assets. We can help signpost you. And I think that's a lot of what we do in probably the first month, is figure out, of all the things we do, because we do a lot of things in the 1% Club, of all the stuff, what should you ignore? And it's kind of a big part of my message over the years has kind of gravitated towards subtracting, taking stuff away, rather than trying to do everything. And because people would feel guilty. They're like, well, I haven't attended any coaching calls this month, therefore I'm cancelling. It's like, okay, fine. So don't attend a coaching call. Watch a masterclass instead. Ask us a question in the Facebook group. Read a 1% Way email and do something about it. Take a long-term perspective and look at it over the course of a year and say, what do I do over a year? Do I attend 5 coaching calls? Watch some masterclasses? Is my business in a better place at the end of the year than it was at the start? That's the proven framework we want to take people along. One of our last coaching calls, we talked about 90-day plans, didn't we? So this is something obviously I've talked about in Big Ideas for Small Businesses. Talked about it in Routine Machine as well. This has been like game changing for me, working in 90-day chunks. Started it March 2015. I've still got all my 90-day plans here on my desk. It really has been game changing. And talking to 1%ers last month, there's a few people struggling with 90-day plans. And I think we had a bit of a revelatory takeaway, didn't we, with 90-day goals?
Absolutely, yeah. They're 90-day goals, and it can be anything really that you need to have within your life or within your business or however. And I think we almost gave permission to probably half the room that they could fit a health one in there if they wanted to. Yeah. If they wanted to go for a walk during the day, I think we just kind of give people permission, really. Yeah. It did seem very much like that. And everybody's business is in a different place, and everybody's life is in a different place. And as I say, some people want that £1 million business. Some people want to just be happy on with a few customers that are paying the way and actually making, having that lifestyle that they kind of want to do. So there's a whole range of things in there. So yeah, so one of those things that when people join us is they need to come up with this 90-day plan to work out what it is they'd like to kind of get out of one of our membership, but two, from their business too, what makes their business their ambitious lifestyle business that they need it to be.
I think that's, for new members at least, that's where they struggle the most, is that first 90-day plan. It's the subtracting that they struggle with, because what do you mean I have to narrow it down to 3 things? Because there's 50 things that I want to do. It's like, yeah, but 3 matter more than the other 47. And this was the revelation in that coaching call, was that the 3 most important things that you need to do in the next 3 months, the next 90 days, don't have to be all related to your business. So yeah, maybe you want to make sure you're sleeping well at night, in which case that could be one of your goals. Maybe you want to, sort out some parenting goals. So Sarah, again, perfect example. We talked to her on the last podcast. Her business is exactly where she wants it to be. We talked about that on the last episode. It's exactly where I want to be. Everything's great. So she was on the coaching call saying, what do I do? What can I put on my next 90-day plan? Because I don't want any more customers. I'm already retaining all the customers that I need. I've already put my prices up. Literally, I've improved my business as much as I want to. There's nothing else to do. So we said, well, okay, so put down some health goals, take some me time, put down some parenting goals, put down some personal development goals. These are your 90-day. The lifestyle business is, how can I make my lifestyle better in 90 days? Not how can I make my business better in 90 days. You do not work for your business. Your business works for you, or at least it should do.
I think the other interesting point that came out of the call was the number of people that thought their 90-day plan should include their client work. How could I get my client work in there and stuff as well? The normal day-to-day stuff, whether that were, whatever sector they were in, they had their clients. Well, I've got to do that because that's important. That's a job that I have to complete for them. So therefore, it's one of my big 3 for the month kind of thing. Or what big 3 for the quarter? It's like, no, it's not, because that's got to happen anyway. Yeah. And it's that conversation because. Most people go, yep, it's my to-do list. This is all of the stuff I've got to do. I've got to fit that into my next 90 days. And overwhelmed. Can't do it.
I alluded to this on the call. I haven't done it yet, but I'm heading this way. And that is making the 90-day goals even smaller and saying, rather than having a big 3, I'm going to have one thing that's my thing for this quarter. Mm-hmm. Because the less you are focused on, the more focused on it you are going to be. Mm-hmm. And if you've got a to-do list of 25 items, your attention is going to flit whichever shouts loudest. Whereas, 3, I'm just glancing at my 90-day goals here, which are in front of me. 3, you can focus on them, but you're still gravitating between the 3 of them. Having 1, that really focuses it. For me, that's launching the book. By the way, for the next quarter, it is getting Evergreen Assets actually out there, which we're aiming for a November launch, by the way. No firm date in November yet, but that is the plan. Hopefully, as long as the editing goes well, and the formatting, and the book cover, and the promotion, and the creation of Evergreen Assets to sell the book, and the audiobook narration, and the post-editing, and all the other moving parts and the spinning of plates that inevitably needs to happen around that should hopefully lead to a November launch.
So it'll either be fireworks because it's at the beginning of November, or all in Scotland because it's at the end of November. Is that how it's going to be? We're going to have a Scottish launch if it's late, or a firework launch if it's early. Is that how it is?
Yeah, it could be. Or Black Friday if I just scribble everything out. Oh dear, I have said a few times, I should just rip it up and start again. It's like, no, you're not doing this. The OCD in me is kicked in, by the way. It has to be this year, and it has to be November, because I launched a book in 2017. I launched one in 2019. This would be 2021. That's every 2 years. I love my routines. Mm-hmm. I can't go 2 years, 3 years. It can't be done. So I've got to publish it in 2021. So December 31st, 2021, which actually, that will be the 20-year anniversary of the last day I had a proper job. Yep, my little calendar on my desk.
You're talking yourself out of a November launch here. Stop it. That's not great. No. John, it's been lovely to chat to you on this ambitious lifestyle podcast. Absolutely brilliant, hasn't it? It's been good. It's been good.
We do like this. I love the fact that we're all sweating buckets here now. Looking forward to wrapping up so I can switch my fan back on. And you're looking forward to an ice cream, I take it.
I'm going to have an ice cream. That's exactly right, yeah. Summer special. Love them.
Have a good one, guys. See you next month.
Take care.
Cheerio. So there we are, another episode in the can. How was it for you? Please let us know. However you listen to these podcasts, please leave a review on that platform. Let us know what we can do better, what you like, what you don't like, and how we can improve to make this show even better for you. We'll see you next time.